Good morning, students. We have reached to lesson number 7 of the first chapter, that is the story of village Palampur. In the previous lesson, we have studied about who provides for labor in the agricultural fields. For small farmers, they themselves provide the labor, and for medium and large farmers, the landless laborers and the small farmers provide the labor required. The topic for today is the capital needed in farming. Now, while we were discussing the factors of production, I have already told you that in order to any production to take place, we need those four factors of production. Those four factors of production were land, labor, capital, and capital has got two parts: physical capital and human capital. So over here, capital means physical capital, and without physical capital one cannot take up this work of farming. So the small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for capital. Now, small farmers, I have already told you that they are the ones who own less than 2 hectares of land. Since their land holding is very small, as a result, they do not have very good amount of income. As a result, whenever they want to sow something in their land, they need to borrow money, and they arrange the capital from that borrowed money. They borrow from large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. Now they can borrow from three individuals. The first one is large farmer. Now large farmers, they have got a very good production in their land, since their land holding is very huge. As a result, they earn a very good amount of money, and they can lend that money to these small farmers, or they can borrow from village money lenders. Village money lenders are those people who are not certified by the government to lend money or do all these work, but these individuals provide for money to these small farmers, and the small farmers can even borrow money from the traders. Now these traders are those individuals who provide for inputs, or as we can call it, raw material that are to be used in the land for farming. And these traders are those same individual who purchase the output of the land and sell it in the market. So the small farmer can borrow from large farmer or village money lender or the trader. The rate of interest on such loan is very high. Now the rate of interest imposed by these individuals are very high. As a result, they are put to great distress to repay the loan. Since the rate of interest is very high, the small farmers, they become very tensed as to how to pay off this loan, and sometimes they are not able to pay it back. There is a very good example that is mentioned in your NCERT book. Let us discuss that. Savita is a small farmer. She plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. Besides seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides, she needs cash to buy water and repair her farm instruments. She estimates that the working capital itself would cost a minimum of rupees 3,000. She doesn't have the money, so she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh, a large farmer. Tejpal Singh agrees to give Savita the loan at an interest rate of 24% for 4 months, which is a very high interest rate. Savita also has to promise to work on his field as a farm laborer during the harvest season at rupees 35 per day. As you can tell, this wage is quite low. Savita knows that she will have to work very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then work as a farm laborer for Tejpal Singh. The harvest time is very busy time. As a mother of 3 children, she has a lot of household responsibilities. Savita agrees to these tough conditions as she knows getting a loan is difficult for a farm laborer. Now, the central character in the story is Savita. She is a small farmer and she owns 1 hectare of land. And in order to produce anything in her field, she requires certain raw materials, certain inputs, and those inputs are seeds, fertilizers and pesticides, and she even needs to get certain repairing done, and for that she needs minimum of 3000 rupees, which she is not having. So as I have already told you, they can borrow from large farmer or money lender or trader. So Savita goes to Tejpal Singh. Now Tejpal Singh is a large farmer. He says that yes, I will give you the loan amount, but the rate of interest is very high. It is 24% for 4 months. Now, first of all, Savita is not aware about banks, as we can make out from this story. Now, whenever bank gives a loan to farmers, their rate of interest is very low. On an average, since it varies from bank to bank, I am telling you the average percentage. So on an average, it is 9 to 10%. But over here, she has to pay 24%. The reason behind it is, first of all, she is probably not aware about banks. And secondly, even if she is aware, the banks ask for collateral, something that they can give in exchange of the loan amount. So Savita is having only 1 hectare of land. So bank might not give her the loan. So maybe because of her ignorance, or probably because of she has not got anything to provide in exchange of the loan amount. So Savita chooses to take money from Tejpal Singh. Now, in exchange of this amount, she has to even work in Tejpal Singh's land, and the wage is only rupees 35 per day. As we have already discussed, the standard wage of Palampur is rupees 115 per day. But over here she is getting only rupees 35. And she knows, she understands that this wage is very low, but Savita has got no other option. In order to cultivate on her own field, she needs money, and in order to get money, she will have to take up this job. Now, even if Savita agrees to these situation, Savita's life will become very difficult. She will have to work on her own field. Apart from that, she will have to work on Tejpal Singh's field, and after that she has got 3 children, so she even has to take all the household responsibility. She has to take care of her children. So for small farmers, the life is very tough, we can make out from this entire example. The medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. Since their output is very much, they sell their production and they keep a certain amount of money so that they can invest it in next season. So this is what they are saying. They are thus able to arrange for capital needed. Now the next topic is sale of surplus farm products. So I have already told you that surplus means extra. So this topic is all about what happens once the farm production takes place, once the harvesting is done. So small farmers like Savita and Govind's son have little surplus because of their small land holding. Now when we were discussing about land holdings, we had one example of Govind, who was the owner of 2.25 hectares of land, and he was having sons, and that land got distributed into among the sons, and each son got 0.75 hectare of land. And just now we had discussed about Savita's example. So these individuals have got very small land holding, and as a result their output is very less. From their total production, a substantial amount is kept to fulfill their own family needs. Of course, they are growing probably wheat and rice or any other eatable. So each and every individual has got their requirement of food. Now these small farmers, they need to keep a substantial amount of their production for consuming, in order to eat it. So they will keep a substantial amount to themselves. As a result, they sell very less amount of their production, which leads to them having insufficient fund for investment in the next season. That is what we have just now discussed. Since their production is very less, they will earn very less amount of money. They might sell certain amount of their production in the market, or they might keep the entire production for self-consumption in order to eat it. Now they have insufficient fund because of this, and as a result they are not able to invest in the next season, and that is why they borrow money from either large farmers or money lenders or the traders. Medium and large farmers, on the other hand, have greater surplus. Already discussed, these individuals have got a huge amount of land holding, and as a result they have got a comparatively greater amount of output. After keeping certain amount of output for their family needs, they sell their production to the traders. These medium and large farmers are the ones who supply wheat to the market. Now whatever wheat or whatever agricultural production we are able to find in the market, it has been produced by either a medium farmer or a large farmer, who might have kept certain amount of production to themselves, and they might have sold the rest of the production to the traders. That production is what reaches to the market. They earn a good amount of money, which they may save it in bank accounts, lend it to small farmers, or use it to arrange for capital in the next season. So since they earn good amount of money, they have got three options. They may save it, they may lend it to small farmers, or they may use it to arrange for capital. both working and fixed. So that is it for today's class. So today we have learned about the capital that is required in farming. The small farmers arrange for capital either from large farmers or money lenders or traders, and the medium and the large farmers use their savings. Now agricultural output or the surplus output, the small farmers use their agricultural output to fulfill their need of food. On the other hand, the medium and the large farmers first of all keep certain amount of their production to fulfill the need of food, and the rest they sell it in the market, and whatever money they get from that production, they can either save it or use it to lend it to others, to small farmers, or they can purchase capital so that they can use it for next season. So that is it for today's class. Thank you.